jumped from like 4K straight to 5.5K. I also lost that job because the company closed down again. So
Kevin, how much are you earning now?
You think your pay enough to support a family? Then I say, enough lah, why not? I earn 4.6 one anyway.
Eric graduated in 2003. I graduated in 2023. Today, this episode is actually inspired by a fellow creator, which is Seth from Satisfy. He has recently just published a video with the title Revealing My Income Over the Years. So I think innate as an audience myself that consume quite a bit of content here and there is this drive, or I don't know, maybe it's embedded in the Singapore culture that we like to see how others are doing and then benchmark against ourselves. And I believe right now there is even like an official compare salary.sg or something where you can kind of see what percentile you are and compare to people amongst your age group even. So I think just to kind of kickstart this entire discussion, maybe we can go around the table and for those of you who don't mind, you can give a ballpark range of your own career journey and how much you have been earning thus far, and then maybe we'll expand the discussion from there and maybe some lessons that you have learned along the way. Maybe we'll get Kelvin to start.
I graduated around 2011. Yes.
Graduated from where?
From uni.
What uni?
NUS.
NUS, top tier university. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I graduated from uni with the computing degree. So back then I was specializing in games. It sounds fun but when you come out, right, fish is basically a bigger fish that would survive kind of industry lah. So right now, if I look back at all the game companies that I have went for interview for, I think like 90% of them have died lah. So once I graduated, I started working for some animation company as a web developer. It's nothing related to too much with my computing degree because I was studying games. I come out as a web developer, but it's interchangeable a bit. Salary of 2008, and I think I worked there for like 1 to 2 years before I changed my jobs. Yeah, because I find that quite boring lah. The whole company was doing a bit of like animation related stuff. After a while, I found it was a bit boring. So about 1 to 2 years later, I changed to a real game company. Right now, it doesn't exist anymore lah. The old veterans will know that I started with Flash programming lah. So that salary, I think it jumped out to like 3,002. Still nothing too special. But all my peers were earning around at least 4K at the time already. So this is the thing, right? When you chase after passion, your pay will be a bit lower lah. So I think art students will know this kind of feeling. Time still don't have a family yet. As long as everyone stays happy, then it's happy lah. So this game company I worked for like 5 years, 3.2K. I think 3.2K jumped to I think 4K, maybe 10% increase, but annual I think less than 2% increase only. Still because of passion. Then around 2018, I got married. That's when I decided to change job. But also because my game company closed down. So once I changed to a real software programming job, my pay jumped from like 4K straight to 5.5K. It adjusted upwards, but still I'm getting paid lesser than my peers. So that one was I think full stack job. Full stack basically means front end, I program for the back end at the same time. So this is you can say it's the highest tier of programming. You're doing both sides. Work another, I think 3 years, 4 years, the pay jump up to like 6.5K. That's around COVID time, like 6.5K. Then I also lost that job because the company closed down again. Then I started doing YouTube full time. Yeah.
But I just wanted to ask, right, Kevin, along this process, when I presume you will still keep up with your university and friends lah, like you all will talk about pay and benefits and whatnot. And then when you go to these gatherings and then you update yourselves, each other about life, is there never the comparison gene that was? I presume that you're quite competitive as well. If not, you probably couldn't get to NUS. That's one. Secondly is considering everything that's like when you look back now, before this YouTube thing that blew up, like pre that era, what was your mindset like? Were you really on that verge where you were thinking that, hey, since I'm doing something I'm passionate, I'm very happy to go to work, then it's fine that I don't need to earn as much. Was that the thought process?
Okay, so first question is, did I compare? I think I came out with the understanding that I will never be as high income as my peers, because straight away everyone else was earning like at least 3K plus already, 3K, 3.5, 4K. Even there's 5 already. Right now, but I'm just there earning like 2.8K. So I'm like, oh shit, there's no way I can cash out. So I stopped comparing. Then the other thing is actually have barely any friends from uni lah. So at most 3 to 4 friends. I don't know. Right now, I also never barely catch up with them already.
Yeah, because as we get married, they have our own kids and all that, right? Everyone is like super busy. Yeah, that is very, very hard to find a common timing. I'm speaking for my age group, lah, like mid-40s, that kind of thing.
Meeting with friends, of course, yes. But not every friends are, those that they are closer circle, there are, wider friends groups. So the closer ones still, at least, WhatsApp, checking. For example, let's say when jumping job, also need to check with friends, industry friends, right? Like what's the market now? If not, don't know whether it's compensated well or not. So that one is like I treat it as some market research. But only friends that are very close that we can share this kind of information.
Yeah, for the second question is like, am I okay with just being passionate and low pay? At the time, yes, I was not earning much, so I wasn't spending much also. Plus that time I wasn't married, so money wasn't a big thing for me back then. Singapore back then was also quite cheap lah. I wasn't going after big homes anyway. And my second job, I worked for 5 years. I was quite contented lah. If the company didn't close down, actually I would have worked maybe even 10 years in that job lah. So once it closed down, I got a higher pay. That's when I started thinking, hey, actually, I deserve a higher pay.
Like you say you will find like chasing after passion and all that, right? Is the pivot, is the change to now like, okay, chasing after money, is it because you got married and settled down, have kids, then that caused you to change?
There's a clarification, right? Like, Kelvin, are you chasing money now? That's the assumption here that's made.
Okay. The passion part is still the same. It has never changed. So since graduations from 2011 till now, I've tried on different projects. So I started creating websites, creating apps, creating games every year lah. So basically, I have at least 10 kind of projects under my belt already. And YouTube was one of the projects that I did end of 2019. So YouTube was the only one that took off. At least it can give me a decent income as compared to my last job. It has now become my full-time job. Why not just try to increase the pay as however much I can lah. A bit, right? Because when you are the boss, you want to maximize how much you're earning, right? Since this is I consider this as a wheel lah, as a wheel to earn. It's not really a passive income since whatever you do, since whatever I upload today, if I stop uploading, this whole wheel will stop turning, will slow down the churn lah, which means the income will stop dropping. So in my back of my mind, I'm like, oh, maybe I should turn this as fast as I can. So last year I was uploading like 4 videos a week. Yeah, then this year I started slowing down a bit lah because I couldn't handle that kind of workload already. I got a kid. So
Kelvin, how much are you earning now?
I'm paying myself 6.5K.
No, how much your YouTube business is earning right now? And is it not enough yet?
Not enough. When you are a business owner, I think it's never enough, right? You're like trying to chase the next big thing. Like even for Eric, I'm sure at the back of his mind, he's like thinking, oh, how can I open more centers, that kind of thing. But obviously, it's after a certain point, it's more than enough for me, right? I would say like 6.5K, my previous job. Anything more than that is already enough for me. And then as for how much I'm earning, I would just say like it's north of 10K lah.
But what's the intentions of like just want to max up the earnings right now? Do you I just want to max up now, earn as much as possible, then I can take it very slow. It's like semi-retirement, that kind of thinking, or you want to, like perpetually just keep on ramping up and make this business larger and larger?
How long I'm going to exist on this YouTube, right? So if you got watch Breaking Bad, the guy is just trying to earn as much money as he can while he's alive, mah. So that's my thought right now. But obviously, this is a bit unhealthy lah. I'm sacrificing a bit of my health for this already. That's why I'm slowing down this year, and I'm okay with that. You either increase the intensity or you increase the impact. So right now I'm trying to slow down a bit, but I'm looking towards people hate this word, course. But I would think it's more of a tutorial thing lah, options tutorial to teach people how to do it, because obviously a lot of people want to learn it. So that will have a lot more impact. Then at the same time, I don't have to go begging around for sponsorship money. I don't have to go and chase, oh, go sign up for this link.
Actually, I just noticed I graduated earlier than Kelvin. I graduated in 2009 from National University of Malaysia, not Singapore.
That's also a atas uni, right?
Not. I think during my time, not the top one. I think it's like second.
Okay.
In terms of the ranking in Malaysia. So I graduated that time. Salary was 2,500 ringgit. So for those who lazy to click in, to do the conversions on Google, that's about $700 Sing. But that was 2009 lah. So sometime back. Then after working like 2.5 years, I moved to Hong Kong. Then I got a salary of 23,500. That was Hong Kong dollar. So you convert back, that's $4,000 Sing lah. So that was okay-ish, like already much higher compared to my salary back in Malaysia. But the rental was super high lah. So it's like can't really save much money. Actually, even in Malaysia, earning 2005 back then, I still can save a bit of money after accounted for all the rental and so on. Like we have to learn how to survive with little income. Then only when your income increase a bit more, you can save more. If not, I will be just however much I earn, then just spend everything. Then came to Singapore in 2013. I forgot my salary already. Probably around 4-5K. I really don't remember the details. And then as career slowly progressed, income also increased. Yeah. I won't disclose my salary now. It's against the policy of the company that I work for. So don't ask me that questions.
Then if we bring back down to back then, right, that was quite a big jump, right? Like, why did you, was it an opportunity that landed on your lap, or do you go and pursue the opportunity to go to Hong Kong? Why fly from Malaysia to Hong Kong?
Yeah, that was really like just to get some overseas experience, because I don't get to study overseas. So it's always like, sitting from one country, keep on like, imagining what's like staying in another country. So when I get the offer, I was quite excited to go there. I can experience a place that is to me quite different. But language-wise, it's not that different because I can speak. My Cantonese is not so good, but still able to communicate. And it's also, between Cantonese and English, right? So both are okay. Opportunities are, both places. Even KL have opportunities. Singapore also have. Even my let's say my friends staying in KL, I think they are doing quite well. So I don't think that's a difference between these few different cities. It's just that it's a timing problem, timing questions. Because even when I was at Hong Kong, I want to travel back nearer, right? I was thinking either KL or Singapore. Either one will do, because from my parents' place to KL and to Singapore also about the same distance, about like 4 to 5 hours distance. Like when I started in Singapore, my pay also isn't like super high. I really don't remember exact amount, but you can think of it. Let's say like 4 to 5K. 4 to 5K if you are living, let's say, because I'm not staying with like most Singaporean, they are staying with parents, so still okay, right? I still need to rent a room and so on. So renting a room is okay. I still remember the rent was like $600. Staying with the owners, I have my own room. That's all fine. But if I just wanted to rent a unit, right? Just a small unit, I think easily costs like 1,800 to 2,000. Still very cheap compared to today's rental. But if I earn, let's say like 5K and I spend 2K on, just the housing, right? So I really can't save the money to buy a house. So it's more like just plan the financial and say, okay, the most cost efficient way is to, like max up the saving, stay at $600 unit, just work that out for the 5 years. And also, I was waiting to get to be eligible to buy HDB, because when I started in Singapore, I think the rules they changed. They say PR, you need to be PR for 3 years, then only you can buy. So that was after I started in Singapore. Then only they come out these new rules. So it's like really the clock tick, right? 3 years complete, then straight away. It's like within I think 1 or 2 months, I signed my first my HDB purchase.
So reflecting back, do you have any biggest regret in terms of your career move that you didn't come to Singapore earlier?
No lah, no regrets. I think it's all experience. Even let's say like 2.5 years in Malaysia, right? I still see it as like an experience because you are working with peoples from different culture, like different country, definitely different culture. So I do think that those experience are like, you know, very valuable. Yeah.
If
to work
if
there.
I may probe, right, because you have
Mm.
been working with people in, I presume, our region,
Mm.
right? Through your interactions with all these people, versus like local Singaporeans that didn't had any overseas exposure,
Mm.
do you notice any stark differences? Both can be pro or con
Mm.
when you are talking to your Singapore counterpart versus like in Hong Kong or in Malaysia.
Every country will have their own culture. Okay, so this is like given. But if you want to judge someone just because the person don't have, you know, like multi countries experience, the attitude or the capability, I won't say so, because actually I would say quite a number of people, they let's say they studies overseas. So also there's, you know, the culture get imported back a bit. It's like differed by individuals, and not really like you will lose out if you don't have that experience lah.
I think I brought up this question because I believe I read it some years ago about hunting for talent. And I believe for some of these big multinational companies, when a lot of people are complaining that why they don't let Singaporeans go up the top seat, is because they kind of lack international exposure. So I'm not too sure because I personally have not met or interacted with enough people. That's why I just wanted to know your thought, but I think it's fine. Maybe we will rotate to the last one. Eric, you want to share your journey or
Okay,
thoughts?
my journey pretty easy one. I graduated from NUS, one of the top university, like what you say.
Another elite. My goodness.
Elite. Okay. Yeah. Chicken needs to share last. Okay. When did I graduate? 2003. So I graduated, right? I didn't really know what to do. I still remember one day I was like hanging around church. Like I have a few of my friends, right, my peers around my age group. They were saying like, oh, we applied to go NIE, be a teacher and all that. So it was a couple of them lah. Like they were quite close friends of mine. So I'm like, you're applying to be teachers. I see. Maybe I should apply to be teacher also. So I just literally follow them, like you applying, huh? I also apply lor. So I mean at that time I was looking around for jobs, and then I still remember I applied for this lab technician, and it was at Loyang there, like very ulu inside Changi Way, those kind of ulu place. So I traveled there. It was ulu even for me. I stay in the east, and I still find that very very ulu. So I went there for the interview. The person told me like, okay, so you want to be a lab technician? Then I say yeah. They say, what's your qualification? I say, I'm a degree holder. They say, what?
You should say NUS degree holder.
Yeah. I say NUS. Then he said, I don't think we can afford you leh. Then I say, it's okay lah. How much are you offering? Then they say 1.8K. Then I say, oh, okay lah, whatever lah. then they were like, no lah, we cannot afford you lah. We're only looking for a poly grad. Then I'm like, okay. Indirectly rejecting me lah. So they just say,
Then you show him your poly cert lah.
I don't have poly. I'm from JC. So anyway, so that was failed one. So I've been sending out a lot of resume. I remember I sent out like 20 over resume, which mean to some people it isn't a lot. I heard of people who send like 100 resume all over. So I sent like about 10 plus 20 like that lah, to all the companies. I still remember looking at the newspaper, the recruit session. Wow, very jialat. Because I graduated from chemistry, science degree. Like not a lot of things you need science, It's not like a programmer and all that. Quite easy to find job. I sent to NIE and then they asked me for interview, and then I became a teacher I think that was the period of time that they were asking for a lot of teachers to come on board. I think that was about 2005. 2005. Yeah. So they looking for a lot of teachers. They onboard a lot of us, and then I still remember my interview was quite a disaster. They asked me, why do you want to be a teacher? Then I'm like, because I did relief teaching before. So you like interacting with kids? Like, yeah. Then I said, okay lah. If I don't remember wrongly, I think it was about 2K.
2005, 2K.
2K. Like not not trained one, haven't been to NIE. So I posted to school. Then after that, I went 1 year in NIE. Then after that, I came out of NIE. I think it was either 2.4 or 2.7. By the time I quit, right, after the 4th year or the 5th year, right, I was at about 3.2 or 3.3, thereabouts. Because every year they kind of add like 2% to your pay for inflation. I think that's quite the norm lah. Now also the same thing, like add $100+ per year. Yeah, so I quit after 4 year plus, and then I went to become a stockbroker I think you all know that.
Yeah, remember the story.
Yeah, that it was a very sad period. I was like, first 6 months they give us a basic pay, like for sustenance because they know we don't have clients pay us like 1,600 a month for 6 months. Then after that, no more basic pay, 100% commissions. So I'm like, oh crap. So in my first month where I have to get a commission base, right? I think I did less than $1,000. I did less than 1,000. So it was around like that for one whole year, less than 1K a month. So I was like very 穷苦人家. So luckily I can stay with my parents lah. But having said that, it's only because I don't have a family. I'm staying with my parents that I dare to take this kind of risk. If not, I won't apply for this kind of comms only job. So anyway, after the first year, the second year, I think I did slightly better. I got about 2K average per month. Then the third year, right, I thought it's going to be better, but it was barely 2.4K. So after the third year, I realized that cannot lay. I don't see a way out of this. It's like the client base is not really growing. I basically talked to all my friends already. Those who want to sign up would have signed up. Those who did sign up, they hardly trade. So they just open an account to support me. So but they are not like traders or investors. So at the end of 3 years, I thought to myself, okay lah, I really tried very hard. The whole day, just stay out in the shopping malls and all that. Just setting up the push cart, wow, very sian one. Like you are there when the mall open, you're there when the mall closed. And then the whole day you just see people walking by you, like nothing one.
But you become remiser also because that's your passion, right? It's not
No,
for the money, right?
I thought that when I become a remiser, I thought I wanted to trade. Then I realized that I'm really not good at trading.
Yeah, I thought you are good there. You are our sifu.
No lah. I thought I was good lah. I mean, I had an inflated opinion of my own trading, but I didn't realize that it's not consistent. And sometimes I can like whole month just make losses. So not sustainable lah. And then that's when I found out when I turned full time as a broker. Then I realized that oh crap. Then I don't have comms from the client side. And then I'm spending time trying to, do charts or whatever. And then that doesn't work out also. Then I'm like, oh man, 2边不早安. So after 3 years, I went back to my principal then because I know her I say, can you like accept me back into the school? Then she like, okay lah, but I can only take you back as contract. So I signed a 1 year contract and I renewed for 3 years. Then on the third year, right, the principal told me, or anyway, my pay when I went back, right, it went from about 3.5 like that when I first signed up. I think it went up to about 4.6. Yeah. So it was over a period. And then, I think they adjusted the teacher's pay. So it was much higher when I rejoined. So even at the same scale, right, same pay grade, I was taking back a lot more, which is about 4.6 when I completed the third year. Then they told me that they're going to lay me off in a nice way. They say like, we cannot keep you because the JCs are merging. So I will advise you.
Oh, you taught in JC?
Yeah, I taught in JC.
Wow, tough.
Yeah. Anyway, so the 8 JCs merged to become 4 in 2017 or 18. So they told me very nicely that because you're contract personnel, you're not a key appointment holder, so we got to let you go lah. Yeah, so give you 9 months head start to find a job outside. But if you really want, we can give you a relief position lah. Then I asked them, so how much they pay relief? Then they say, okay, I think they pay about 3,000 a month. They're like 3,000. Then at that time I was like married and my wife was about to give birth already. And I already bought a house, this HDB. So I was like 3,000, I think, wow, cannot. So I discussed with my wife and then I say, I think I need to look for another job lah. I cannot do the relief. I cannot stay on and do relief. 养不活他们啊 3K.
Was it stressful during that period?
Yeah, I think in my whole life, right, that day when I had to go back, right, after my principal told me about this and my VP talked to me, and then I went back home because my wife was very heavily pregnant already. She's about to give birth, 3rd trimester. So she was resting on the sofa. You all know the sofa, right? The living room, that sofa. She was just sitting there. Then when I opened the door, the first thing I saw her, she looked at me, then I looked at her. I will never forget that image. I told her, hey, dear, I think I just lost my job. Like I will be out of a job like in 9 months' time. Then she got up. Then she was like, you know the scene where she's holding her stomach, it's like so big. Then she's like, huh? Why you lose your job? Yeah, then it was quite a stressful time. And then the best thing is, right, when she went back after her maternity, right, the school informed her that she has to go and find her own school. Like she was being asked to leave from the college also. Not leave from MOE, leave from the college. So if she cannot find another position elsewhere in another JC, then GG. Then they will just anyhow post her anywhere. Can be primary school, secondary school, anywhere when there's vacancy. And you all know that JC and secondary school teaching very big difference. Very big difference. So my wife is like a PhD holder. Ask her to teach secondary school, she's like, I don't know. So that time when she heard the news about her own job, right, she was like super duper stressed. So it was like a double whammy for her. Like
Then that time, what's your financial situations? Because like that's you are already starting tuitions already or not?
No.
When that news landed.
No, I don't have any tuitions.
No, I think because you are still teaching, it's still within that 9 months. Okay.
I was still in MOE lah. I wasn't teaching tuition actively. Then my wife was pregnant she where got time to do tuition. So none of us was doing tuition. My last drawn in MOE was 4.6. Yeah, then that was the period that the story goes, I went to ask my friend, hey, do you have a job for me? Because he operates a tuition center. And he just told me, hey bro, you just set up a center yourself lah. Then we cross refer.
Like that
so that was the story.
Pushed you out. That didn't want to give you a job.
At the time I didn't think he was my owner. I think that don't want to give me a job. No lah. No, he's my good friend. I really respect him a lot. He's a very kind person. And I think he really came from a place where he wanted me to try out, to the extent that he even like kind of linked me up with another one of his friends. He said that, hey, this friend is moving out of his unit to a bigger unit. Then his old unit left 5 months. You have to take over. Very small unit only. Like the rental is like 1,001. Not gonna have a job and then I still need to pay rental 1,001. So it's like kind of like I don't know how you put it. I think you all will know this phrase called hamji, right? Like a bit scared of risk. Don't dare to take any risk at all.
Yeah.
But to me, at that stage in my life, right, having an additional liability was like very, very scary thing. It's really very scary because I have this time round I cannot go back to my parents' house to stay. And there's like my wife and my son is depending on me. And they're like, wow, cannot lay. I cannot do the same thing that I did when I was a broker. Anyway, my friend really encouraged me. He said, hey, bro, just do it lah. Like 1K, 1.1K, sign for 5 months. At most you lose 5.5 lah. If really cannot, then at least you tried ma.
Your emergency cash back then, or is it like I don't know, because I'm thinking, let's say if I suddenly get a letter to say I will lose my job in 9 months, right? I will really like conserve all my cash and then just build cash buffer just to make sure that the normal life, food, all those things are taken care. So I don't know what's your situations back then. Have you started investing already, or
I do have shares holding. There was about, I think, 80 or 90K lah, like
Yeah.
mostly in REITs and all that.
uh,
But really savings, not really there. Because my pay was like 4,600.
mm,
You know, there was this day, a very iconic day also. Sorry, a little bit off topic. It's nothing to do with my pay. But I was with my wife buying furniture at IKEA or walking around. Then we sat waiting for the bus, right, to take us to Tampines interchange. Then she looked at me and say, that time we were just boyfriend, girlfriend, going to be married, but not yet married. Then she looked at me like, why you want a kid? Because she know I want a family. Then I say, because I like kids. Then she say, you think your pay enough to support a family? Then I say, enough lah, why not? I earn 4.6 one anyway. Then she looked at me, then she started laughing. Then I'm like, why? Funny meh? 4.6 pathetic meh? No lah, I never say that. Anyway, then she said, yeah. Then she counted for me. Then I said, okay, 1K, give to CPF. About there lah. Then okay, fair. Then is it 1K, give to parents, your own parents. Then I say, yeah, fair also. 1K, give to son. Okay. 1K, give to car. Fair. Then he say, how much you left? $600. Then he say, I haven't thought about insurance, everything, tax, everything. I haven't thought about. Then she said, so you confident? You confident that you can support family?
but she's working, right? Because
she's
you
working.
cannot just look at one person income. You have to
Okay,
look at
so-
plan the whole thing as a family, right?
So, how do I put it? From her point of view, right? Because of her upbringing, she feels that the male, the husband, should be the breadwinner. Okay, it's not that she don't want to contribute. Can I put it out there? Not that she don't want to contribute. Okay, she will contribute. It's just that she feels that the onus should be on the head of the household, because she's still quite traditional in that. She feels that you should be earning more. How much more I don't know lah, but that time I think she was easily earning 5 plus because she of her degree PhD. Yeah, she has a PhD. So yeah lor, she's earning like about 1K more than me. Last drawn. So that's why she questioned me because I didn't realize I was just happy-go-lucky, like, hey, everything's so cheap. Because I'm only paying for myself. Until got to pay for somebody else, then all this came out. And then I realized that I was really too naive.
Actually, I have one more question. Is it because you went through this period, like your brokerage time, right? Like you earn very little, and then you have this experience of suddenly getting a notice 9 months out of job. Your wife also getting this kind of notice before, right? Like, I mean, not saying losing job, like it's like on the verge of losing job. Is that because all this experience that you now, even you are doing well financially, but still when talking about like having more children, 2 or 3 children, you're still feeling that, okay, this is like, adding up commitments, and you are not that, risk taker in taking up all this?
Yeah, I'm fairly comfortable now. I don't think that having another kid or even 2 kids will affect.
20 also can.
20 cannot lah, no space. I don't think it will affect our quality of life in that sense. But my wife is just saying that we are too old lah. We have no energy to take care of another newborn. I mean, if we are 10 years younger, like maybe yourself or even Kelvin's age, confirm, I think we can go for another one. But at the age that we are at, cannot. It's really not practical. Yeah, so that's the main reason. But at the start, it was not that reason. At the start, it was really because I was broke. Yeah, one kid already like wow, super stressed already. Yeah lah, so that was the journey.
Actually, for chemistry, when you graduate, what's the general main job that people go to?
Actually, I also don't know leh. What are they supposed to do?
I think
Chemical.
those companies like pharma companies, they will prefer to hire this kind of background.
Okay. The those that like farmer or whatever do research one, right?
Yeah.
They minimum honors must be very good honors You can go there wash test tube Masters, then
No
they
lah,
allow you to
it's
do.
not like every job you will require the PhD to do it, right? The company so big, so I'm sure there will be other roles that maybe if you have some background, that's good. You have analytical skill, that's good. You don't need to be like the chemist. You don't need to be the one having PhD, right?
Then that one I'm not so sure lah. The only one I found was like lab tech, and they don't want to hire me. So I gotta say looking for a job is really not my forte. I think I suck at looking for a job. So if you graduate with chemistry, right, degree, don't ask me what is the job that you can find. I seriously don't know.
You are expert in creating jobs, not looking at job.
Hey, before that, I got a few questions there. I quite kaypoh in a way where, because I have a few friends that are in NIE, and some of them are already posted to schools already. I want to ask two things. Why would they let you off or ask your wife to go? Because I was under the pretext that MOE is always severely understaffed, if I'm not wrong. Are they not?
At JC level, right, I think majority of the school are adequately or overstaffed. Adequately.
So it's only on JC level.
At least for the sciences that I know of. Yeah.
Okay.
They are mostly adequate or overstaffed.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Second question is, can I understand a little bit more on like your own personal experience in MOE, right? Was the politics game played very well? Like, were there a lot of office politics in?
I think the workplaces more or less will be the same. Like if you go any government service, it's the same thing one. All I can say is, right, if you go out to work, no matter where you go, public or private, right, you need to know how to climb. Whether you want to climb or not is another matter. You need to know what to show lah. So a lot of people always like to say, wow, this fella talk only. But you want to talk also must know when to talk, what to talk, who to talk to. It's all an art, just the talking part. But of course, you must also deliver the results and all that. But looking back, right, I really don't know how to do any, and I couldn't be bothered because I feel that I could have been better in a sense. Like I could have improved myself, could have planned out my career better. Because all along my life is like go with the flow 我没有什么 plan 的. So just like, oh, you going NIE? Okay, I also go. You going canteen? I also go. There's no direction one. No. I don't know what I want to do. Yeah, but like Kelvin, when we like set up our own business, right? Actually, just now when Bunti was asking Kelvin, like, why do you want to chong so hard, right? I think as business owner, sometimes we at the back of our mind we know that, it's not every day is Sunday one. Like now you can make money, right? It doesn't mean that 5 years later or even 3 years later, you still got the business ongoing. Not really. You make the money now, okay, at least you have some backup. We always need to have buffer. It's not like, the thing come, then you panic, then you, what to do? Cannot lah. Yeah, sometimes we hire people, we also need to think for them. Like, if our business fail, we are not the only ones. Jialat, everyone also jialat. Those under us. So I don't know. We always need to plan ahead and think of not just ourselves, our own livelihood. Also have to think of those that are hired by us.
Wait, I got one more question. For Eric, your institution, you had 5 months runway, right? How long did you before you became profitable?
First 2 weeks lah. This one you ask one, man.
Serious?
Walao,
First 2
Eric.
weeks?
No, my first year, right? The place that I rented, my first year, like from May until December, right? My first year, all the way, right? These 7 months, I only have 9 students.
Not profitable?
你自己算看看啦 like
No.
if I had to pay myself or confirm not profitable lah because I don't start with 9 ma, right? It's only end of the year then I have 9. So at the start I have like 2 students first month, then 3 students, 4 students, 5 students, 慢慢慢慢 because last time I don't even know how to do marketing seriously. And people say, my friends say they will refer to me. Yeah, lah, they refer one kid to me. Yeah, lor. So it's very, very slow. And I think the profit, not much. Maybe 1 month I can earn $400-500. I think I could tank a little bit because I have a bit of savings. I can tank a little bit. And I took on a crazy lot of private students. So that was for the center side. Then at my own time, right, wow, quite and take all the private student and tank the damage. The private side, I think I took back about 4-5K per month.
What do you mean by private side and
One
center
to one.
side?
Like the center is group student ma.
But you use the same venue, right, to teach?
No. I
you
like
don't?
go to their place or they come my place, something like that.
Oh.
1 to 1 Yeah, so that one cannot scale one. No, 就是 like you must put in like 20 hours, those kind. 20 hours per week. Then you earn like 4 to 5K. So that one is tough work. That one, yeah. So you got to travel, got to teach them, got to travel back. Yeah. So the first year was pretty tough. In fact, the first 3 years, I would say really grinding very badly. Because the group side 没有什么 pick up. It was until I met this tutor, right? I would say he's a pretty obnoxious character. I hope he never hears this. If not, I'm gonna he's gonna call me up. But yeah, so he was 他真的是很 bossy and then he kind of told me like, brother, go and whack the advertisement. Spend like 2,000 a month. Go and whack advertisement. Then I say, I'm not even earning so much. He asked me to put into advertisement. Then I said, just put. You teach for 3 years already, you still got 20 over students only. Then he keep laughing at me. Then I'm like, okay. Then he say, put lah, you don't put, you 一辈子都这样 have fun staying poor, say things like to trigger me. Then I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So I really put I really dumb. I put in 4K for 2 months. And it really pick up. I really got like 20 over students in that 2 months. So I literally doubled. Then yeah, that's when I discovered that, I have to do advertisement. I cannot just sit down there and wait for people to come. When we do business, we just learn along the way, because I only know how to teach ma. Yeah, then I didn't know that setting up a tuition center, I must go and advertise, I must go and network, do a lot of things. Now I know lah. 到期给了没有？
Actually, I got what do I have to share? I have nothing to share. As in terms of salary wise, as in Eric graduated in 2003, I graduated in 2023. So as in there's no history lah. I mean, if you want to look at it from a work perspective, my first official work is I was in a sales job. I think I shared it before. Not necessarily sales lah, because it was something like a partnership lah. Why I chanced upon that was because of my dad. So my dad had sales background, and he honestly didn't care what I wanted to do. Like, he didn't really ask me on my opinion. He just said, go and find a sales job. Okay, long story short, I just went out and find a sales job. It was kind of like a partnership. They give like very low basic pay, but then you get the taste of what is exponential income lah. Meaning, one day or one weekend, if you're really damn good, it's in the thousands. Like, not even funny. And yeah, so that was my initial experience. And then that was before I go into university. That was after I army and I was waiting for going to uni. So that was the first job. And then the subsequent jobs are all internships lah, which is not full-time jobs. Pre that, I think I was taking up tuition for some time. I did one-to-ones. I didn't had the opportunity to meet Eric when I was schooling, so my chemistry was my worst subject. The funny thing is this, actually in when I was young, like very, very young, before I go into primary school, I think English was quite okay, it was quite decent. And then I met a very bad teacher. I'm not gonna name names, but there was two English teacher in primary school that impacted how I viewed life, and there was this chip on my shoulder for a very long time. Long story short was because my parents is Chinese educated. They're not very good in English. Their command of English is not good. So when they go to like meet the parent session and whatnot, you just have that inkling or that feeling that they are getting looked down upon. Something along those lines lah. Then it had a bad impression, and then the teacher had a particular bias, which I hope it's not happening, even though I know it's a human behavior, but there was a particular bias. And then I didn't really took English to heart, and that's when my English started deteriorating, etc. So sorry, back to my main topic was that I'm a humanities student, but my command of the language was not good back then in primary school and secondary school. So I can do very well for humanities, meaning like my geography, my history, but my English always like C or D or something like that, which I can never understand why also. Meaning, how can you not be good in language, but you can write an argument or you can memorize or whatnot? So that was back then. And then I realized that there was this gap. So what happened was actually I think I went to a decent primary school, but I didn't do very well for PSLE. So I see my other friends that go to the Mingxiao basically, of Victoria, Anglo, RI, Hwa Chong, a lot from my own class. So that gave me that first blow, and I was a very 自卑的孩子. I don't know how to say that in English lah. But anyway, I didn't go back for the reunions or whatever that go back to see the teacher, because I think I was one of the lowest in school or in class, even though I was in a decent school and in a decent class back then. Then fast forward through secondary school, it was the same. I didn't do well for my language. Chinese is a different thing because Singapore Chinese standard very weak. So really, it was just the bell curve that brought me up. I'm not good in Chinese, but it's just that other people are worse. So that's why my Chinese seems okay. And that was when I took the leap of faith in JC, because I took a pure science route lah. In a way, because everybody's saying you take pure science. I think when Bunty and Kelvin, when your kids come, you'll know that why pure science is important, because it opens a lot of opportunity and what. So I didn't really know what I was doing. And then, of course, through the guidance of like relatives and like parents say, must pure science. I don't care what you do, just pure science. So I took pure science. And then come to uni, come to JC, I didn't care all of that, what they said. So I just told my parents that, okay, I listened to y'all, I took pure science. Now I go JC, I will take humanities. I had like 4 tuitions concurrently, English, math, whatever it is, they just throw. And I still didn't do well for PSLE. Then we had a Cold War for 1 week because I didn't do well. Like my expectations back then was like, I think 2.4, 2.5 should be okay. Like that was the general standard. And I came in at like 2.1 or something. Then I went to a neighborhood school. And then that's another story lah. But anyway, I went to secondary school. They didn't really care. They hands off. Actually, I didn't do too badly, but I didn't do very well. I didn't go to a top JC, but I managed to squeeze into a JC. So I just told them, screw this shit. I'm just gonna do what I want to do. Like, I like humanities. I think I can argue. I think I can write essays, even though my English is not good. So I just went in. Then during that 2 years, because of no restraint or constraints, I think I kind of like flourished in a way. Like I really did very well in school without putting in a lot of effort, because I was really doing things that I enjoy. But English was still my weakest subject. Like for GP general paper, in case Bunty and Kelvin don't know, that's the English equivalent. So I went in, my first essay I wrote, I think I got like 9 out of 50. 9 points out of 50. So I told myself this cannot make it, because even in humanities, when you start writing in prose and write long, right, you need to write fast, you need to write accurately, you need to write eloquently. So then I just started reading politics, go read the news, do whatever it takes. I need to make sure that my English is up to par. But thankfully, I think the issue with doing that is that because your foundation or your base is not good, you keep trying to add things, memorize all the vocab lah, good sentence structure, how to argue, good, but your foundation is weak. Your grammar is all over the place. Last time they have ChatGPT, so I really need to write and read myself. So even after, like, they call it exposure therapy, right? You just keep reading, and then the brain kind of recognize patterns, but the foundation is weak. You can tell that the foundation is weak. But I think, fortunately or unfortunately, in general papers, they don't test your command of English. They test your argument, they test your ability to think outside the box. So that was very thankfully why, if they really go back and test English, like grammar, those kind of sentence structure, I think I'll not do well. But I think thankfully, they weren't doing that. And because of the humanities training, I was taught to think a certain way and to be innovative in my answers. That's why I think I did okay. And JC was really the way I picked because I did something that I enjoyed, like, and that was the biggest lesson in my adult life thus far, or childhood life, was that I think you need to do something that you are inherently good at. It forms that feedback loop, right? And when people are not willing to put in the effort because they're being forced and you go tuition, you are 乐在其中, when you are reading stuff and you are enjoying it, and it gives you that positive feedback loop, and then you do well in school, and then you continue doing well, and then you get that dopamine hit, and then you will put in even more effort. So that loop just keeps going, and basically nobody can catch up unless that person is equally passionate or even better than you, or the guy is just very talented. But if you don't talk about talent, like you don't talk about hard work, this was not hard work to me, no. So that was my first lesson, which then goes into the next point. Like I had a middle phase where I was doing tuition, so I was good in econs, I was good in humanities. My A levels did pretty well, so that was basically the certificate of entitlement of telling people that, hey, you all can find me for tuition. But I didn't have a very good session about tutoring, because actually back then was quite juicy leh. Being a tuition teacher or being a tutor, private tutor, was the rates were, at least at my times, was around 40-50 per hour. And 40 to 50 per hour, you just travel one time, that's like $100. Like, because you teach 2 hours at JC level. Then I realized that I wasn't a good teacher, because I've come to realize that some things or some concepts are very intuitive to some. Like, to me, I always thought that something like a demand supply curve is common sense. Like, you see demand go up, as in you see prices go up means demand come down. Like, logically, if the price go up, I don't want to buy. But sometimes some people don't grasp that. Then you have to go back to the foundations and teach. And I think maybe you can say that I'm judgmental, or it's a skill set that I didn't acquire, because back then I was like 17, 18. I realized that when you put the kid in front of me and then I just do an assessment on him, I can aga know where is his standard or her standard. And then I will use a particular type of view to look at the student and then teach him accordingly. And of course, as teachers, you are like those students that are very smart, very good. You don't need much. You just need a bit of 指导, you point a bit. Wow, the guy, wow, damn good already. And then you have those that are more weaker students that need a lot of help. And then I want to help them, but I don't know how to help. And of course, it's my responsibility to help. So actually, I put in even more effort to those weaker students. But the risk reward, or the return on my investment, on my time and my effort. And usually when I prep for class, right, I prep more for those weaker students, but it just doesn't turn up. Maybe it's a skill set issue, or I don't know, maybe a flair of teaching. So that was when I didn't really continue on that whole teaching thing. After that, even though I know a lot of people a lot of my friends that do tuition they just they just throw their A-level cert and then tell the students or the parents that I did quite well. Then I've come to realize that actually sometimes it's not doesn't mean the teacher has good grades means he's a good teacher. And I've experienced it myself. And then I needed to go down that awakening. And then fast forward to that university, I just whatever. Like, then my parents really didn't care much about my life. I can do whatever I want to. And I think once you build that credibility and that trust with your parents, that foundation is there, then you just build on it. And then there was a second phase of the uni life, which is I started YouTube in 2021. I went to uni in 2020, then there was a lockdown and blah, blah, blah. I went to uni for 1 semester, then they locked down. Then they do work from home. Then there was a lot of time. Then there was the boom of the whole YouTube era. Then everybody's online. Then I was looking at everybody's content. By the way, I'm really interested in investing since very young because of my father's influence. But yeah, I was consuming content. And then in 2021-ish, then I started YouTube. Was also kind of like a passion thing. I just did it for fun. But I always had this chip on the shoulder. I always wanted to help people that had unfair advantage of being despised upon. I always had that underdog mentality because I was despised upon when I was younger.
The economics, right? The one that you say supply demand, then what surplus that people draw that. I don't get that. I know they're trying to teach a concept, but to me, it's like draw that triangle things, and then to me, it just doesn't come natural to me. Like, I really have to memorize just for exams.
Yeah. So actually, funny story. So I did this econs thing. I wanted to do a H3. So I want a H3 as in, so for concepts like H1 is everybody need to take 3 H2 subjects, which is the more intense subject. Like H3 is when like a very high tier. But I think back then I've forgotten what was the conversation with my economics tutor. They call them tutor lah, but basically my teacher or my lecturer or whatever. In a way, I wasn't doing fantastic, because usually you want to go to H3, you need to do very good. Like you have to be one of the top few in terms of grades. I wasn't. I was okay, but I was not fantastic. So then I think the conversation that kicked back to me was that, hey, you should buck up on, let's say, your GP or your math or whatever subjects, because they don't want you to be overstressed now, or your bandwidth to be what. I understand. But clearly, I think I was still one of the top few that finished A-levels in the school. So then, but the opportunity of the H3 was landed onto somebody else's lap. Of course, I'm not trying to blame the teacher or whatnot, but this is just my life in general. In secondary school, it's the same. I wanted to take higher Chinese. So I took higher Chinese in primary school. I didn't get distinction. I think I got merit. So the idea was that the school policy was you need to get distinction, then you can continue higher Chinese in secondary school. So I didn't get what. But they know that I was not qualified, or I was overqualified in the normal Chinese stream, because when the teacher is talking and then you can see the results, everybody was just very bad. And I'm just that weird guy that is not good enough for higher Chinese, but then I also don't know why am I in the normal Chinese class. So I'm stuck in that position. So what happened was that they sent me, so I quite thank my Chinese teacher, where she keep appealing. So the principal said, no, this is a policy, whatever. Then she keep appealing. Then she said, okay, I'll give you one chance. You go and take an exam. So they sent me to the higher Chinese class and then go and take an exam. Of course, that time I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't treat it seriously. Then just anyhow do lah. Then I didn't pass the exam, so I didn't get to go into the higher Chinese. So there was a lot of opportunities that I didn't know was opportunities. I thought I'm entitled to it. And then I've lost a lot, and I was kind of like belittled along the way for many times. But there's this underdog mentality that I like, the David Goliath kind of story, and I like the David to win. That's just my own, I guess, exposure since young.
So Eric always say that he sees potential in you, right? You have the highest potential. So where do you see yourself in 10 years?
No, this potential thing is purely, I think, quantifiable from a time perspective. Just means that because I'm young, at least from my own perspective, when I was hanging out with friends and in university. So the funny thing is actually this underdog mentality. After I reflected back, then I realized why I chose NTU. I just didn't want to go to the top university or top elite university. Like, cause NUS is elite, so NTU is second. Back to what my main point was, that when I'm with a group of people that were in my age group, right, I can tell you that there's a lot of elites. Like even in NTU, you think that, it's a second tier university, the rank is what, right? Actually, it's exactly the same. It's just for whatever reason, they just decided to go NTU. There's equally amount of they call them Hua Chis, Hua Chong people, Rafflesians, whatever. They have their own elite clubs, and all these people are really very sharp, very, very smart. You just don't see them online because they think that this is a clown show. Honestly, I speak from my heart. They think this is a clown show. They don't need to waste their time to talk to people, to get attention and to what. But I don't know. But I can tell you that I think Kelvin is probably a lot more influential than all these people that are sitting on top boards or board of directors or executives because of his influence. Like, he can move tens of thousands of people with one video. With that amount of effort, I think it's different. So that was a difference in opinion. But I'm just telling you that there are a lot of really, really smart and sharp people in the workforce that are not seen in public. We just so happen that we don't see them. So in terms of potential, I think I don't need to claim. I'm not even in the top 20, 30%. I think I got median. I'm very happy already. So this whole potential thing is just 看个人造化. Who do you meet along the way? What kind of mentors help you out? What kind of experiences you have? And then you all can marry away.
I disagree with your self-assessment. I see you bigger than Adam Khoo in 10 years' time.
I think you blow too much smoke on my ass. But anyway, no lah. Just keep a mental note that sometimes when I see people talk about, like, I just don't know whether is it a pure exposure thing where I see a lot of people and then I don't see that I'm very smart or anything, because it's just that the reference point is different. And all these people are really cannot fight one lah, serious. Like I'm from a neighborhood school. I was a neighborhood JC. I did okay for A-levels. I squeezed into a university. And when I go in and see what are the standards of our elites or scholars, there's a reason why they're elites or scholars. That's just my perspective. For now. Maybe in the future, 20 years ahead, who knows what will happen.
Okay, I actually got one comment and one question for cheating. Comment first, right? I used to think like you, I used to think that there are people that are so smart, they're way smarter than me. In fact, I think my wife is much smarter than me, at least in the academic sense. Because that's what we measure ourselves by, education system, we are teachers. So I always like, look at people, wow, you're so smart, lah, you're like PhD, lah, you're this and that. But after after setting up my own center and all that, becoming my own boss, then I realized that if you're being smart, like in your studies, right, academic wise, it doesn't really translate to like, being so-called successful or whatever. Not what I say, the most important ingredient, right, is that you decide that you want to do something and you follow through, which is 99% of people don't do that because they don't know what they want to do, like me previously, and or they don't follow through, which is an observation I think Kelvin also shared, right? He said people want to beat him, lousy YouTuber, want to beat him 100K. I do 1 million. Give me 1 year time. I beat him. But the follow through, I don't know whether it comes or not, lah. So not a lot of people, I would say at Kelvin's level, right? Less than 1% of people have his kind of tenacity. So that's
He's also blowing the smoke out my ass.
okay. Anyway, that was a comment. And the question for Chiking is, right, you mentioned that you did a sales job when you were much younger, right? And I think if I don't remember wrongly, I think you said you did pretty okay. You did pretty well, exceptional. But why, when you are grown up already, why don't you think of doing a sales job?
I wouldn't say I did exceptional lah, but I was okay lah. So in sales, right, there is a life cycle, right? Sometimes you are at peak, sometimes you are at bottom. There are good days, there are bad days. Yeah lah, if you consider you benchmark me at the peak level, there was a bit of luck, a bit of skills, sure, whatever it is. Maybe not the time yet. If next time I want to explore, I don't think the door is closed just because I'm too old. So I believe in a way when I'm younger, I'm kind of semi-pursuing something that I enjoy, I'm passionate about. I don't mind. By the way, for those of you who are wondering what time are we recording this, now it's 12:08 a.m. If there are chances, of course, I will continue trying to pursue what I enjoy in the sphere. Then if you're talking about like monetary sense, I'm not very, very driven by money. It's important, yes, but I acknowledge my privilege. My parents are healthy, they are happy. They don't need a lot of finance, they don't have a lot of financial stress. I have a roof over my head. So I think all these that are taken care of already, then I will try to, that I think it goes back down to that whole episode in JC where I try to pick something that I like first. Unless the circumstances force me, then I will go towards the thing that probably need to generate money first. Then we talk like survival first, then we talk about it. So that's my thoughts for why I'm not going into that line. But anyway, I do think that I'm generally, maybe next time when Kelvin hires me to be a salesperson for his course, maybe you can explore that point of view. But I feel like from what I understand, actually all road leads to Rome. And this Rome that I'm talking about is sales skill. So meaning you're the idea of selling, whether it's selling yourself, selling an idea, selling a course, getting people to trust you and stuff like that. I think it's a subset of a skill. Maybe not sales in general, but that's how I look at content creation and where I'm at now.
Willing to pay for things that we think have value, ma. So it's like when you are going to see doctor, you don't feel bad giving your doctor your money. In fact, you feel bad if you don't give your doctor your money. Because the doctor maybe have saved your life and oh yeah, can you do this for free? Can you give me a 50% discount? The doctor is going to cut off your leg. I think this is the same thing for courses. Right now you're helping Adam Khoo, right? A lot of people hate his course. They say, oh, why pay for this kind of course? But if you're not paying for his course, this means you are paying using something else, which is maybe time, maybe money, which personally I would have much preferred to pay money to get that shortcut. But I guess a lot of people don't see the point of doing that. Yeah, they don't see the value. Then you might as well don't pay. But I think it's there's value in everything lah. Yeah.
Sorry, if I can clarify and jump in a bit. I understand where your clarification come from. I feel like, okay, so the analogy that you use is very good. I like to use this doctor analogy. So you say that you go to the doctor, you pay him because you expect them to give you a best health advice, right? And then I presume that in a clinic, they probably carry most of the common drugs and they have a lot of variety or choices. So the funny thing is this, paracetamol, which is, let's say, what's that called? Panadol, right? You can buy off the shelf. And I know that's the best treatment for your current situation. So Kelvin today comes in to visit me, but the incentive is not right. So I must sell you $100 pill. But I know paracetamol, 50 cents can really settle your problem. Everything is fine. But I must sell you this $100. Like I need to chase my KPI or I need to what? So because of the whole incentive and how the system is governed and stuff like that, that's why it becomes very unhealthy. And that was a more like, I guess, apt way of trying to describe the situation. Meaning I know of a better way of achieving the same goal, but I can't do that because of XYZ reason. Circling back to your point about cost, evidently, of course, I like to believe that I'm ethical. Why did I join Adam Khoo in the first place is because he's probably the most legit out of everybody else out there. He's the only one willing to open out his portfolio. I think there's a certain level of respect that needs to be given to people like that are willing to open up portfolio, regardless of whether it's good or bad. Like even losing money, you can leverage and lose a lot of money. I think there's still a level of respect that we need to give to people that open up portfolio. Because I've seen a lot of people that blow Dragon and blow Phoenix, even in my own circle, that says that they only open parts of the trades that make money. And of course, we know that. Why do they do that? Because they want to look good, ego, whatever. So back to the question or the topic on cost, right? I completely agree. I think for me, from how I understand, actually for a lot of people that around me, when I see them trade stocks or go into the stock market, they can be earning money now, sure. I don't know whether they'll lose money or not. Maybe because evidently, okay, I think now break even, I'm green now. But anyway, let's say that we all lose money, like we all do all the stupid things. I know a lot of people that do a lot of stupid things, even though they are all degree holders and do banking, finance, first class honors, can be dean's list, whatever it is. They're doing a lot of stupid things, and in a way, that's the school fee that they paid to the market. Because they don't want to do it properly, man. They think that they're I'm not even saying like doing value investing or doing growth investing. Some of them are really just degen. I just want to whack zero day to expiry options that will 5x or 10x, if not, it'll go to zero, that kind of things. And to a point where sometimes the amount of money that they lost in between, when they go and spend like 1K, 2K, some of the courses that are out there, even those more so-called legit ones, you go IBF or you go, I don't know those certified ones, I never take before lah. But I did do some competitor research before and I took some of the courses. It's better than having that basic foundation compared to somebody that whack zero date to expiry options. To be very frank, that's my perspective. And it's a skill set that, sure, you can say that it's free online, but you are paying for people's time and you are paying for structure. It's the same thing as today. I can tell you that whatever I learned in university that I paid 40 grand for, is probably worth close to nothing. Excluding the network, excluding knowing the professors and friends, I've got a degree. It's just to prove to the world that I can study. I have a certain level of discipline, and you can hire me and I won't run away because I have responsibility to complete a degree. That's basically just a follow through. In terms of the knowledge, everything is Googleable. In fact, I can tell you that a lot of, I don't know, should I say this? Some of the people that I see online are probably better teachers than whatever you think you're going to get from that world-class education, even though we are ranked like 14, 15 in the world. So that's just a reality check to tell you that not everything is as rosy as you think it is. And for people that went through it, they just recognize it as a fact that this is reality and you just play by it. That's all. I'm not against cost selling and I'm not against people, but I just think that you should do your own. Don't go and listen to those look at the moon and trade one lah. Those I don't know how to justify looking at astro trading and say that because of the water and the sun, that's why the stock market will go up. But if you are talking about like legitimate ground level of reasoning, value investing, growth investing, I'm not against any type of. Some people like to do small cap. In fact, we are going to interview someone that does focus on small caps. And I think there is money to be made there. So if there is a proven methodology and even the new guest is going to sell a course and he has proven he dares to open his portfolio and to share He doesn't need to be beating the market, but if he can share his methodology and he has made certain returns and why he did wrong, I think if he's being transparent, why not? I mean, if I really want to learn the idea of dividend investing or small cap investing, I think it's fine. Like you're there to learn or to harness a skill set. Just saying that all course sellers are bad or whatnot.
Just to comment a little bit on what Chiking shared about selling, right? I think selling, yes, is a very important skill. And if you know there's a better solution, go against that to hit your KPI, right? I think that was what Christopher, the Provident boss, when he was in the insurance industry, he said that he also had the same feeling, right? That's why he went to fee based. Like no way you can do it under the existing structure. You can maybe go to a different structure, which for him he actually hammered out this thing, which was like a pioneering work, right? So now people who feel like, oh, they need like 可以凭良心吃饭 one, then they go join his company. So I thought that was an alternative. If you don't agree with the current practice, you can go to somewhere where even now the property side, right, they have this 1% or flat fee 3,000 to sell a HDB, those kind. So more and more services are popping up. People are innovating, they're disrupting the market. I think that's a good thing, because selling is inherently is not bad, because you are providing a solution. People have a problem, you have the solution. So if you give them a solution, they will be more than happy to pay you, because hey, that's the solution I need, ma. So nothing wrong with selling lah. It's just that we need to live with ourselves lor. Like, is the value that we're providing for that amount, is it worth it? So I think maybe you can go and look at the things that go with your conscious, then go with it lah.
Yeah, so that's why I say once Kelvin is done with his thing, I can vet through it, then I can start selling for him also. No, as in that's why I say I'm not against the idea of selling. I think selling is a very important skill. It's just that it just so happens that my own previous experience was not ideal lah, in a way, and it wasn't congruent. So that's why I didn't pursue that path.
Hopefully Kelvin will give you a good experience.
As in I hope so too. Okay, I think with that, I think this is a very long sharing. We didn't expect this to go so long. But anywho, if you guys have any comments, any thoughts, you disagree, you think that you can be bigger than Kelvin the next time, please feel free to leave in the comments below. And we look forward to the next 100K in the Singapore YouTube finance scene. With that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.